Hello and welcome to OverX. I am Subham. Today we are going to see how we can create this responsive carousel using HTML, CSS and JavaScript without using any external libraries. So let's get started. If you are new to this channel, please consider subscribing to OverX for watching more front-end development videos. Also like this video. Let's get started by writing the HTML. So here I added an outer div with a class name of carousel which contains the carousel inner container which contains the images inside the carousel item. So here I added the 3 images. Now let's add left and right buttons. So here I added 2 buttons with the class name of carousel control, and I also added a custom class of previous and next with HTML Unicode for left and the right buttons. As you can see in the browser, we have a button with left and right icons. Now let's add styling to the HTML. So in body, I added a background color as a linear gradient. If you're interested, you can go to this website cssgradient.io where you can copy the gradients of your choice for your website. And I had set the background size to cover so that it cover entire screen, and given height of 100 viewport height for covering the entire height, and remove the default margin of the browser. And to keep the carousel in center, I had added the display flex and also aligned it horizontally and vertically in center using align item and justify content. So for this outer div carousel container, I had added a styling with a border of 3 pixel white, and I had set a fixed width of 500 pixel and a position of relative so that we can position the left and the right buttons accordingly. And I had set an overflow of hidden so that image is not visible outside this container. So for this carousel inner container div, I had added a display of flex so that the images are horizontally aligned. So if you notice, if I comment the overflow hidden of the carousel, you can see the images are currently horizontally aligned, all the 3 images. And if I uncomment the overflow hidden, the images are also not coming outside this carousel container. So I had added a width of 100% to the images. As you can see, it's getting fitted inside the carousel, which has a width of 500 pixels. So it's not getting extended outside the carousel container div. So now let's add styling to this carousel item. So after adding styling to carousel item with a min width of 100%, we can only see the one image which is covering entire 100%. Now let's add styling for the carousel control. So for carousel control, I had added a position of absolute with a top of 50%, so that's horizontally center, and also transform translate y to 50%, so the buttons are perfectly centered with a width and a height of 50 pixels. And I had added a border radius of 50% for giving the button a rounded shape. I had added a transition of 0.2 seconds so that on hovering it smoothly animates, and also added a border of 2 pixels which is transparent so that on hovering when I give a border it doesn't change its size, and also given a display of flex with align item center and justify content center so that the icon is in the center of the button, and given a cursor pointer, this pointer icon comes when hovering to the button. Now let's left and right spacing for the previous and next button. So as you can see, the buttons are perfectly to the left and the right side of the carousel. Now if you see, if I try to reduce the size of the screen, the image itself is responsive. But as you can see, the buttons are looking too large. So for handling that, we can add the media query. I had added a media query for a max width of 500 pixel. That means if the screen size is less than 500 pixel, so I had added a margin of 20 pixel around the carousel for the small screens, and also I had reduced the width and the height of the buttons to 30 pixel, and also font size for the icon. So let's test it out. So as you can see, I am also getting a 20 pixel space between left and right, and also the size of the button is getting reduced. Now if you notice, the image is not covering entire container. It is happening because the image is of different dimension. So this might happen that different images are of different width and height. So to fix that, we can simply add a height of 100 pixel to the image. So let's do this. So after adding height of 100% to the image, as you can see, it's covering the entire width, but there is an issue because this giving a height of 100% stretches the image. Instead, we don't want the image to be stretched. So For that we have another property object fit. Now we can set it to cover so that the image doesn't get stretched. Yeah. So after setting object fit of cover, the image fills the entire container and it gets cropped little bit, but it doesn't get stretched. Now let's add JavaScript for adding functionality to this carousel. So I'm adding a script tag inside the HTML itself, and we'll write the JavaScript inside the script tag, just we have the body tag. So inside a script tag, I set a variable which will keep track of the current index of the image, and then created a function which will receive the index of an, which I am calling on clicking the button. So on clicking the left button, I want the image to move left. So that's why I'm passing -1. And on clicking the right button, I want the image to move right. So that's why I'm increasing the index by 1. So that's why I'm sending a +1. So now inside this function, if you see, I'm getting all the carousel items. So inside the current index, I'm accumulating the indexes so that it keep increasing or decreasing based on if the left or right button is getting clicked. So if the current index is less than 0, that means if images are over, we are again going to the last image, or else if the images, or if the current index is equal to or larger than number of images, we are again setting back the current index to the 0, that means starting image. Now here I am setting the image offset. So since the images are horizontally aligned, and so I'm multiplying the current index by 100. So let's say there are 3 images, the last image is at the 3rd position, so I want that image to be in center, so I'm multiplying it by 100 into the current index, that means the 3rd image, which is 300%. I am setting that to carousel inner translate text minus 300%, so that it comes back to its original position. So now let's test it out. As you can see, the image is perfectly switching. Now let's add some transitional animations to the image as well as the buttons. So I had added a hover effect for carousel buttons. So on hovering, the background color will change to white, and it will have a black border with an icon color of black. So it's getting inverted, as you can see. Now for adding a smooth transition to the images inside carousel inner, we can simply give a transition. So here I'm giving a transition of 0.5 seconds. Now if we scroll, as you can see, it's smoothly scrolling. So now as you can see in the smaller screen also, the carousel is just looking fine, and it's also working fine. So that's how you can create a carousel using HTML, CSS and JavaScript without using any external libraries. Hope you learned something new. Make sure to subscribe to HoverX for watching more front-end development video. Also like this video. Thanks for watching.